First, we are going to talk about piece setup. White square should be in the corner right of each player. You can test if the board is set correctly with this method, if anyone plays offline chess anymore with actual boards. When the setup is correctly, your pieces is opposite by your opponents. We can make some examples. This is the starting position, but we can practice. Rook go to the corner. Second rook also. Then you have the knights. Knights go in shape of the L. That is the knights. Bishop go diagonally. Okay. Now we have the queen. Queen can go diagonally and back and forward. Next we have the king. King can move one square, so that this will be a little slower. And pawns. Okay, pawn setup is on the second and on the 7th rank, and this is the starting position. Next we are going to talk how the chess pieces move. We have the 6 different kinds of chess pieces which move differently. Pieces cannot move through other pieces except the knight, which can jump over other pieces. And pieces can never move into a square with their own piece, but however they can move to take the place of the opponent's piece, which is then captured. We will start with the rook. Rook is a powerful piece. It can move back, forward and sideways, and this is excellent exercise how the rook can move. We can touch the rook and see the scope where he can go with these green dots, and we're gonna pick up the stars to exercise. Okay, this is the basic. We can touch the rook to see where he can go. We can hit the star. We can hit the stars like this, or we can practice some more like this and get closer and hit the star. Okay. Hit the star first to the left, then go to the right, and go to the bottom. Our next piece is the bishop. And at the beginning of the game we have 2 bishops, one light square and one dark square bishop, and at the end of the game bishop can never change the colors. Light square bishop only can move on the light square, and dark squares only on the dark squares. We have examples here where we can practice. In this example we have light square bishop, and we can touch the bishop to see the scope. These green dots are where the bishop can go, so we must collect the stars. That is one practice. Go to the second. We have light square bishop, so all the stars are on the light squares, and we can pick up one by one. Okay, last star. Now we have dark square bishop, so all the stars are on the dark square. We can touch the bishop and see the scope. Potentially green dots. The green dots are potentially where the bishops can land, but we want to pick up the stars, so we are going to do that one by one. Okay, this on the left and this up star. We can collect this star, and you see we can collect the star on one go on this long diagonal, and we will do that. Our next piece is the queen. The queen is the most powerful piece. She can move in any one straight direction, forward, backward, sideways or diagonally, as far as possible, as long as she does not move through any of her own pieces. Here is some example of the queen movement. We can touch the queen and see where the queen can go. All these green dots are potentially where the queen can land. You see the power of queen movement. And we want to collect the stars, so we go up and we collect the other star. Okay, we have another practice. Also, we can touch the queen and see almost half of the board is covered, but we want to collect the stars. First this star, and we can pick up this star and this left, and you see we can pick up all this on the right, but we can practice some more. I don't know, like this. Then we go right and pick up the last star. One more example. The queen, which is the first. Okay, this is the first with what we can capture it, and then we go up. We can capture left, then left again, the right star, up and hit the last star. Our next piece is knight. Knight is the specific piece. Only the knight can move through other pieces. Knight movement is very different from other pieces, and the knight goes 2 squares in one direction and then one more at the 90-degree angle, just like the shape of L. And we can see some of where a knight can jump. We pick up the star and we pick up the other star. Next exercise is this. Collect 1 stars at a time. You see where knight can go. We collect this star. Okay. You go to this star up. This star and the last, and we collect it. Okay, this is the third example. We collect stars one by one, jump to the squares, and that is third example. King. King is the most important piece, but is one of the weakest. The king can only move 1 square in any direction, up, down, to the sides and diagonally. And here is some examples of the king movement. King must go up to pick up the star, and we must move 1 square at a time, and we collect the star. Second example, we go up to pick up the star, up again to pick up another star, left, and we can collect this last star diagonally, but we can also hit to the left and go down, just for the practice. In the first example, we have 6 stars. We're gonna hit them one by one. King is basically slow piece, but it gets the job done. And we're gonna hit the last star. Pawns. Pawns are unusual pieces because they move and capture in different ways. They move forward but capture diagonally. Pawns only can move forward 1 square at a time, except for the very first time when they can move forward for 2 squares. We can see some of the examples of the pawn movement. We go up and hit diagonally. Okay, we have many stars to hit. Okay, with this star, and with this pawn we can hit this left star, and then this on b5, this star. Okay, this is easy. We touch the pawn and see where it can go. We can, because it is the first move, we can move 1 square or the 2 square, but just on the first move we go 2 square to save some time. One more and hit the star. This is another exercise. Okay, with this star, and with F4 we can hit so E5 star, also D5 star, and we can, okay, one square, we can move two also, but one at a time, and hit the star. We also have special rules in chess. They were created to make game more entertaining. For example, a pawn have another special ability, and that is promotion. When the pawn reach the other side of the board, it can become any other chess piece, excluding king or a pawn. It can change it to it for itself, and we have one exercise for the promotion. We go to the end of the board, and we can change a pawn to the queen, the knight, the rook, or the bishop. And we, for the practice, we'll choose the bishop, and we hit the star. We have en passant rule in chess. En passant is like offside in football. A little hard to explain, but I will try. En passant is French expression for in passing. If pawn moves two squares on the first move, and by doing so lands to the side of the opponent's pawn, the other pawn has the option to capturing the first pawn as it passes by, but only in his next move. We will have some examples of the en passant. Here the black plays d5, and we can hit his pawn. Our opponent play this pawn move, and we can hit this pawn. And we can hit the opponent like this. Our next special rule in chess are castling. Castle is special move. It allows us two important things, and which is to get your king to the safety, hopefully, and get your rook out of the corner and into the game. However, castle, in order to castle, the following conditions must be met. It must be that king first move. It must be that rook first move. There cannot be any pieces between the knight, the king and the rook, and the king may not be in check or pass through check, so he can castle. We have some examples of the castles. This is the king side castle. This is the queen side castle. In this exercise we must make the breathing room for the king so we can castle. Okay, this is also practice little complex. We must put bishop out of the way and castle. Same principle, but from the king side. We must move the bishop, the knight, and the queen in order to castle. And that is the castle rule. Player with the white pieces play first, then black plays, then simultaneously till the end. There are only three ways a king can get out of the check. That is, move out of the way, block the check with another piece, or capture the piece which threatens the king. We have some examples of how to get out of check, and we will go through them. In this example, queen attacking our king, we can go left, we can go right, any square which is out of the check. In this exercise also we have check by the queen, so we must go out of the check. The opponent is give us the check with the rook, so we must blockade it. In this example, opponent is attacking us with the bishop, so we must hit the bishop. In this example, opponent gives us checks with the knight, so we must hit that knight. In this example, we attacked by the knight, but we cannot eat the knight because of the pin, so we must move the king. In the last example we attacked with the bishop, but there is no squares for the king. All of these squares are covered, so we must look, okay, not like that. We must blockade with the knight. The purpose of the game is to checkmate the opponent's king. This happens when the king is put into check and can get out of the check. We will have some examples to see how you can deliver a checkmate to your opponent. In this example, this basic checkmate on f7, we delivered a check with the queen, and our queen is protected by the bishop, and it is checkmate. Next we have smother mate. We move the knight, and king is stuck with his own pawns, and the rook. This is basic queen and rook checkmate. This is not easy, but it is the checkmate with the knight. We deliver check, and all the squares around the queen king is covered, so it will be checkmate. It is also check with the bishop, and all the squares are covered. f7 is covered. This is also covered by the rook, so it will be checkmate. This is the checkmate with the bishop. We will take opponent's bishop, and he can take us back because of the pin. This is made on f7, and all the squares around the king are covered. A game of chess can end up in a draw. A draw can occur with stalemate, 50 move rule, 3-fold repetition, and draw but insufficient material. We will cover a stalemate practice. So in the first practice we must took opponent's king all the squares. We will do that with the bishop, and so he has no place to go. In the next exercise we must make the wall here, so our opponent can move. We do that with the knights. In next exercise we also must took all the opponent's squares and block his pawns, so he have no legal moves. It is draw. Also here we must took away the last rank for our opponent, so he can go there with the queen, and he can move other pieces. He can move the knight because of the pin. And last, we just hit the opponent rook, and it is stalemate, no matter of the material. That's it. That's it. Let me know in the comments if you understand the rule of the chess. Hit the thumbs up if you like the video, and also you can give me feedback if there was something I missed to explain in the video. We'll see in the next video. Bye.